to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. My name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve happiness, success, and prosperity. I want to welcome my two very special guests. Well, my first guest is Elise Sherman. Now, Elise is an honors grad of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She is also a recipient of the prestigious Director's Award. And she has with her her very special guest, whose name is Leslie. Leslie came in to see Elise for test anxiety. Please help me welcome my guests. Leslie, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Tell me what brought you in.
Well, I was experiencing extreme test anxiety with a lot of my tests, and no matter how much I would study, I would fail them. And that's a big deal in school because every test is cumulative, and you need to get maximum amount of points in order to stay in the program.
What kind of a program are you in?
Nursing.
That's a wonderful program, and it's a wonderful career. And I know that grades, they also determine where you're going to go to work, where you're going to get placed, and your whole future career.
It determines a lot.
Yes. So you were studying, and even with all the studying, you weren't achieving your full potential on the tests.
Not at all, no.
What did you try before you found hypnosis?
Well, I tried every testing book out there, every test anxiety book, every relaxation exercise, meditation, yoga, as much as I could. I had a tutor, I had several tutors, and no matter what I tried or how hard I studied, even with computerized testing and all of that, I couldn't pinpoint what was going on.
Can you tell me what was happening in your body as you were getting ready to take that test?
Really bad anxiety to the point of where it was almost debilitating. I couldn't really walk into the room anymore. And then when I was actually taking the test, just wandering, my mind would start wandering, my body would start shaking a little bit, and it took everything I had just to concentrate on the words in front of me.
Wow. How did you decide to see a hypnotherapist?
Well, I figured that if I couldn't figure it out and none of the books were being able to be effective, I had to do something. It must be someplace else. It must be in something that I'm not conscious of. So having studied psychology in college, I figured, well, there's the subconscious and there's the collective subconscious. So let's see what's going on there.
How did you find Elise?
Actually, she was referred to me. I was asking a few friends if they knew anybody, and Elise responded to my call.
Did you have any preconceived notion about hypnosis?
Just that I know it works.
Yes.
So.
Good, so you came in with that strong faith. Elise, for someone with test anxiety, which is very, very common, when there's so much riding on it, what kind of an induction would you use with someone with test anxiety?
With a client with test anxiety, I find that the progressive relaxation, to relax them, of course, works really well. And what I do is I embed suggestions into the progressive while I'm doing it.
You're embedding suggestions into the progressive relaxation?
Absolutely.
Give us some examples of that.
Well, what I would do is the normal progressive as we're coming up through the feet into the legs, and with test anxiety, I want to relate it to when they are taking the test. I also use color. In this case, because of the solar plexus and empowerment, often I'll use yellow and gold. Sometimes I'll let the client pick it, but usually with this I'll use yellow and gold. And as we're coming up into the torso, having them as if they are sitting in their chair, getting ready to take the test, I give them the positive suggestions about how they will feel relaxed as they are getting ready to take the test. And then as we're moving up into the arms and the hands, I give them the suggestions about how all of that knowledge that they have studied will come through their arms and hands as they're either on the computer, using the pen or the pencil. And then as we keep going up, when we get to the brain, what I do is I have the client imagine the infinity sign. And with their eyes closed, I have them follow that so that both sides of the brain are balanced.
That is amazing. Leslie,
Yes.
what was it like going into that hypnotic trance for you?
It's really relaxing. I felt that it was a point where I could just let go and allow whatever needed to be worked out in a safe space.
I love the way you framed that. And as you're making this visualization, were you skeptical about it translating from the hypnotherapy chair right into the classroom or into the test center?
Not necessarily skeptical, but I was really, really hopeful.
Yes.
And I mean, something about it had to work.
Absolutely. What other methods did you use?
One thing I love to use with test anxiety is the control room. So as we're doing a visualization or an imagery, having them come into a space where there's a table with 2 controls. 2 machines that have dials on them, one that will go from 100 down to 0, and one that goes from 0 up to 100. And the one that is 100 to 0, we would take in all the anxiety, all of the things that are troubling them for taking the test. And what I do is I use the words and the phrases that the client uses so that it will go into their subconscious much better. And then I instruct them that they are in control of dialing down all of those fears or anxieties, whatever the words they have used, to 0. And then with the other one, for all of the self-confidence and self-empowerment and having the knowledge come through, I have them dial it up.
How did that work for you? First in the hypnotherapy chair.
Well, at first you're sort of in this sleepy stage almost, and then I feel that I'm getting more and more relaxed and more in control, but in a very good way.
Excellent. Now let's talk about what happened out of the 4 corners of Elise's office. Since you've had your hypnotherapy, have you been able to go in and take a test or even a practice test?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, I've improved a lot. At first I was hoping to, well, if I do this, let's improve at least 50%, if not 100. Of course, everybody wants 100.
Yes.
But then steadily it went from 10% and now it's 20% reliable test improvement score. So, and that's consistently taking at least 4 to 5 practice tests a week,
yes.
Consisting of 50 to 100 questions each time. And so by the time that I'm ready preparing for the next segment of testing, I'll have gone over 4,000 questions. So that it's huge to be able to go up in 20% of your score.
Absolutely. And so we just focused so much on the result. I want to talk about your experience when you go in to take a test as well as the result, which is wonderful. 20% is huge. I'm in the thick of it as my children are taking all those tests, getting ready to apply to college from high school, you know. So, but I want to talk to you about what's your experience now. First, talk about when you're going to take a practice test. What's that like?
It's just another test. It's not debilitating anymore. It's actually something to look forward to, almost.
And how about when you go to take the real test, the one that means everything?
Well, it's similar. It's similar. It's no longer that earth-shattering, nerve-wracking, I have to set 30 minutes aside before I can even walk into the building. It's now, okay, let's just take this.
Great. Are you able to access any of the things that Elise taught you in the hypnotherapy room in a full waking state?
Yes, actually.
Well,
I was surprised by that, actually.
Before you go there, I want to learn. I'm ready to learn. Elise, what kind of anchors or triggers did you build in for your clients to be able to access this kind of relaxation and concentration in a full waking state?
Well, one thing was with the control room, I had Leslie do it on her own, because the more that she felt in control, she could bring this up for herself, and also anchoring using her finger and her thumb together, calm.
Calm.
Calm. So before she would take a test, before she would even take a practice test, to be able to get herself in that place of calm.
Were you able to do that right there in the test-taking room?
Actually, I was. And at first, I didn't know why. It just felt better to do this. And then sometimes I do see that control the knobs, and I see myself sitting in the chair.
I love
so
both.
I say that a lot.
I love both of those because there's hypnosis for you. Didn't even know why that felt good. But we know.
I'm like, how is you? Okay.
And the second thing is being able to take the lessons you've learned and use them cognitively, and having that post-hypnotic suggestion to bring you to that really calm place. What would you say to anyone who has anxiety about tests or anything else about trying a little hypnotherapy?
Well, it definitely works. So even if you're just a little bit skeptical, that doesn't matter. It works.
And what would you say about Elise?
Well, Elise is great. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to live without this woman in my life.
The best thing is that Elise, now coming into your full-fledged private practice, I know she'll always be there to help you and other clients, not just with this, but anything that you want a little hypnotherapy to get those post-hypnotic suggestions. And speaking of which, everyone's going to want to know more about anxiety, about hypnotherapy, and especially your unique brand of helping with test anxiety. And you can reach Elise Sherman at hmigrads.com. It appears we're out of time for today. But I want to, before we say goodbye, to first thank Leslie and then Elise Sherman for being our guests today and sharing your unique and wonderful experiences and teaching us those hypnotherapy lessons. I want to thank everybody in the studio audience and those of you watching at home. My name is Lisa Machenberg, and I hope you'll join us next time when we meet more people and explore how they are using Hypnosis Today. Please stay tuned. We got a lot more coming up for you on HMI Web TV. That's Hypnotherapy Television 24/7.
Thank you, Lisa.
Her very special guest, whose name is Leslie. Leslie came in to see Elise for test anxiety. Please help me welcome my guests. Leslie, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Tell me what brought you in.
Well, I was experiencing extreme test anxiety with a lot of my tests, and no matter how much I would study, I would fail them. And that's a big deal in school because every test is cumulative, and you need to get maximum amount of points in order to stay in the program.
What kind of a program are you in?
Nursing.
That's a wonderful program, and it's a wonderful career. And I know that grades, they also determine where you're going to go to work, where you're going to get placed, and your whole future career.
It determines a lot.
Yes. So you were studying, and even with all the studying, you weren't achieving your full potential on the tests.
Not at all, no.
What did you try before you found hypnosis?
Well, I tried every testing book out there, every test anxiety book, every relaxation exercise, meditation, yoga, as much as I could. I had a tutor, I had several tutors, and no matter what I tried or how hard I studied, even
to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. My name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve happiness, success, and prosperity. I want to welcome my two very special guests. Well, my first guest is Elise Sherman. Now, Elise is an honors grad of HMI College of Hypnotherapy. She is also a recipient of the prestigious Director's Award. And she has with her